Hi, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of D2C Chronicles. Today we have with us Prem Auti, who is a product manager at Unboxed Incorporation and owes his current success to the struggles he endured in life. With a background in mechanical engineering, Prem attempted the CAT exam thrice to achieve the perfect percentile. Let us hear what the IIM graduate has to say about staying motivated amidst the downfalls of life. Hi, Prem. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you and how have you been doing during this lockdown?
First of all, thank you for having me here. Lockdown has been great for me, I would say. Um, I got a much needed family time, and last 6 months I've been enjoying with my family. I joined Unboxed also post my MBA. So I think the overall experience have been good, and it's a great opportunity for me to start as my career post MBA as a product manager, and that too in a company like Unboxed gives you an immense opportunity to learn. So yeah, the last 4 months have been great for me.
That's good to hear. I think all of us are learning to adapt to the uncertain circumstances that we are forced into. It must have been an interesting experience, I believe, joining an organization during the lockdown. And I know for a fact that offline that online joining and online virtual onboarding is a very different experience from that of the office. How different and how unique has this experience been for you?
Yeah, so when the lockdown started and it extended lockdown 2, 3 weeks, so or might be postponed. Thankfully, in the tech domain, especially in the management domain, all the companies, I would say, not only Unboxed, all the other companies were right on time. Whatever the date we were told during the placements, we got our joining. Uh, the experience of virtual onboarding was different. Of course, yeah, there were so many challenges. You're not interacting with the people face to face, and you have to adapt to the situation. You have to understand the whole culture of the company of the they are following. It was quite difficult, but it's something which you can do, you can manage with time. So what I think the adapt company adapted in a way that they gave us the opportunity, to take time, adjust yourself, and then there was no kind of pressure that you have to do certain things in a given timeline. So they gave us our space, our time, and I think a month was good enough for us to get into the system, and then we started working. In fact, for me, it was a great experience since May. I've been involved in multiple initiatives. I'm learning a lot. I would say getting a 360-degree view of the entire business. Yeah, so I would say things so far have been going really great.
That's very endearing to hear, Prem. I hope that you have a long way to go at Unboxed and you have a lot many projects coming up your way. Now, Prem, you've previously mentioned that you have worked with Bajaj Auto for about 2 years, and now you're working with Unboxed Incorporation, which is essentially a startup. How different has your experience been of working at a startup and that of an established organization?
So yeah, there are a lot of differences, I would say. However, I would like to answer this I have seen in Bajaj when I'm comparing it with the Unboxed. So it's highly unorganized. Unboxed, let's say for any startup, it's unorganized. Why it is unorganized? It's for simple reason. Startups are meant for growth, not for the personal growth. I'm saying about the high growth in the startups. And so, there are so many things which are going parallelly, and it's very difficult to, keep a track of it. And that's why it's unorganized. It's chaotic. But let me tell you, there is a rhythm in this chaos, and you just have to get yourself attuned to this rhythm. And that's what I did, and that's why I found it very unique in the startup. But in the traditional setup, there are processes which you have to follow. You will spend time 2 to 3 months understanding the process which are there. But here you don't have to spend your time understanding the process. You spend time to do something, to create a process, I would say. So that's a major difference, I would say. uh, uh, you make mistakes here, you fail here, but you grow here. So that's the difference, I would say. But there is very less scope of doing mistakes in a traditional setup because things are well planned. After A you have to do B, C. But here this is not the case. The next point I would say about the ownership, you you have 100% ownership of the task which has been assigned to you. For example, I would say recently I was given some task uh, where there was no clue, but the only what I have to do was given. How I have to do, nothing was told. That was something I have to figure out. It's like you don't know swimming. You have been pushed into the swimming pool, and the people are saying, "Come out. We can't help you. You have to find it your own way." But you survive. You have to survive for yourself, right? You'll survive, but this survival will help you survive your organization, which eventually will lead to the growth of the organization. And that's how what I have realized in this startup environment. You survive, basically the survival will help your organization to grow. uh, People talk about flat hierarchy, right? The startups have flat hierarchy, and the traditional setup have, it's a bureaucratic kind of structure. uh, the claim which they made that they are flat and actually how flat they are, it's two different things. So now I have seen in the startup that it's really flat. I can Slack my CTO a Slack message that I'm facing this issue, I want to discuss certain things, and he will appreciate it. He will find a time to discuss with me. Maybe it's a 1 hour meeting or 30 hour, he will definitely find a time. I think that's kind of approach I have in my organization. And I would rather say in all the startups you have this kind of approach where any person can talk to top management and get the complete idea why we are doing things. The other thing I would say, the last thing I would say, the appreciation factor. You really have to worry about the appreciation in the traditional setup. मेरा performance bonus affect हो जाएगा उसकी वजह से. These are the things which keeps going in the mind. But here you don't have to worry. You just have to work. People will appreciate you. Even you don't have to think, because there's a common channel where people will come and say that Prem has done this thing, and somebody else has done this thing. Right from the management level to the people who have just joined, everyone celebrates the success, even for the small things, small achievements. And I think that's the very stark difference, I think. And that's how is the culture of I would say, startups, from my experience.
That is quite a nice description of the differences between the startup and a well set up business. And the way you speak of it, it goes to say that you are really enjoying your work at Unboxed.
Yeah, I'm very enjoying my work.
Okay, now Prem, let us talk about your role at Unboxed Incorporation, that is of a product manager. What
Yeah.
does your work profile exactly look like?
Okay, so I'll first talk about what a product manager role is, and then I'll talk about my personal responsibility which I'm handling here. A product manager is the person who drives the entire success of a product, and right from the inception of the idea till we are delivering it to the customers, and working on the feedback. Uh, Apart from that, you are also leading cross-functional teams to bring out the entire success of the functional projects also. So you're kind of a person, you're kind of a mini CEO, I would say, who looks after everything but don't have the authority to dictate. That's the only difference. So I can say it's a mini CEO role. And yeah, so you interact with business, you interact with the customers, you interact with the engineering team, and you are the center point, and you are getting the complete view of your business. That's a product manager role for you in general. It differs as compared to whether you're in a B2B space or you're in a B2C space. For example, B2C space means Uber, Swiggy, Zomato kind of firms, right? The mobile application you see in your phone, Myntra, Flipkart, Amazon. And Amazon is a different thing, but B2B space is like you are providing products for the businesses coming up with the enterprise solutions. So Unboxed is a B2B SaaS product delivering product discovery, search related products to the e-commerce websites or the different marketplaces actually. So yeah, so what exactly we do as a product manager, I would say I'll rather divide into three things. One is the core competency, the other is the emotional intelligence, the third will be the fit in the organization as a PM, I would say. The core competencies involved, you have to talk to customer, you have to understand the customer's problem, you have to do user testing, you have to do feature prioritization, you have to learn the art of resource allocation, you have to translate the business problem into engineering problem, and you have to do the vice versa also. So you're a kind of a bridge between engineering team and the the sales and marketing team. You have to define the metrics for the success of your product, and you have to monitor this. So these are the kind of core things, and the list goes on. So this is the kind of typical a PM does, talk about Microsoft, Flipkart. So, but being in a startup, I'm doing much more. So I'll also like enlighten you on these things. You are also involved in pricing the product. You are also involved in marketing strategy. You're also involved with the customer success team. So, the kind of exposure you get in a startup is immense. But I would say, as I said, as I mentioned, the core competency, these are the certain things which are common across all the roles, whether it is B2B or B2C, the startup, or it's a well-established firm. Uh, Emotional intelligence role is basically, understanding your internal stakeholders and your external stakeholders. You have to maintain the relationship with your customers, right? Understand their problem. Things might fail for them, but you have to understand, make them realize that, yeah, and we are there to help you out. So PM is a person who manages the relationships internally also, externally also. So I'm doing that also. And as a cultural fit, I would say PM has to drive the engineering team, drive marketing team, and engineering team drives the product which we are going to sell. So eventually the fit is very important. So I'm also doing a role where I'm incorporating different stakeholders and making them realize that, understand the vision of the company, and that's why we are here, and trust in it. And when I should be a person to give them the trust factor that whatever we are doing is right for the organization. So that is also a part of my role. So yeah, that's it.
Quite an exhaustive set of responsibilities you have, Prem, I must say. And I'm sure that now viewers will have a fair idea of what the role of a product manager entails for them as well.
And that's why I said I am enjoying my work. It's
Yes,
very
absolutely. Okay, now considering the fact that the product manager role is a relatively new role for you, because previously you've worked as a calibration engineer at Bajaj Auto. So, how has your experience been this far, and what advice would you like to give to students, to upcoming B schoolers, and the ones who are already in B schools about this field? How should they step into this field?
Okay, so the experience have been good. I said, coming from an automotive setup, a manufacturing setup, to a SaaS product setup, right? Eventually, you were surrounded by huge machines. There was a CNC machine, lathe machine. There's an assembly line going around, and you're the huge noise. And now you're sitting in in your room and doing all the job. It's a huge transformation, right? So the experience has been completely different, and I'm enjoying it. That experience itself, a rich experience. Being a part of manufacturing setup, you got to learn so many new things. But here also it's a new domain, it's a growing domain, and you learn a lot of things. You are very close to the technology, so you have to keep yourself updated. uh, I would say more updated with respect to the manufacturing setup. So the experience has been good. And the advice, if you're asking for the B school students, um, yeah, those who are looking for product management, I would say, uh, try to explore what exactly is the product manager role is. People just listen to few whispers, which is traveling across the campuses, and they decide their career based on those whispers. No, I would say do research. You have Google with your, spend 2 hours only. Spend 2 hours and try to understand what product manager is doing. You have tons of videos, you can go through on YouTube what a typical product manager is doing. Apart from that, I would say, you have to build your profile. If you're not, once you have understood the role, once you understand the skill set which is required for a product manager, you have to work to get those skills if you feel that this is for you. So those skills, how you can achieve by focusing on academics, trying to get some relevant courses like big data analytics, machine learning, something related to analytics. So courses like that, you can do some research project with your professor, or independent project you can do. You can participate in the different business competitions. So a lot of business competitions are coming up with the new challenges, new problem statement, which gives you a complete idea of what is expected out of a PM role. That's how they design the problem, because that is what they're looking from the B school candidates. If they're able to understand the problem statement, frame the problem statement in a unique way, and try to come up with a solution which is very simple but effective, that's the time you should think that this is for me if I'm able to do this. And business competitions, let it be not only PM. I would say participate in any competition, be marketing, be strategy, be operations. You just have to understand that how you can come up with a simple solutions. And when you are good with that, you are good for any role, I would say. So that's one thing. You can, once you're done with this, I would say, once you're familiar with the product management role, you can practically start learning technical things about PM. You can follow some blogs. What you have to just top 5 blogs for product management, do a Google search. You have, you'll have hundreds of things. Follow 1 or 2, you'll get immense idea about what this current domain is, how the landscape is changing. Apart from that, there are few materials, resources which are there in the campuses. There are clubs which are having tons of material resources, but we don't care. There will be some email, the Google Drive link which will be shared with the people. They don't open. Please open, please go, please read. You will find a solution. You will figure out a way how to get into this domain. It's easy, I would say. It's not that difficult.
I know. I believe, I absolutely agree with that part. Nothing is impossible and nothing is very difficult if you have decided that you really want to do something.
Yeah.
Now, Prem, we also know that before heading into a full-time role as a product manager, you earlier tried the domain of consulting during your internship period.
Yes.
How did that work out for you, and when did the shift between these roles come about?
Okay. It's a very interesting story, I would say, when you have asked about my consulting experience. So I did my summers in IIM, Alvarez and Mercer. Before that, I'll just say a few things about the B school campuses. It's a general thing, in let it be A, B, C, ISB, FMS. People talk about investment banking, people talk about consulting, that to strategy consulting. That's the core thing which people, that's the fancy jobs. And I was also a victim of that. I'm saying victim because I did not do my homework completely, because what all the skill sets are required. I just went with the flow. I I got few shortlists from AT Kearney, I got from Accenture, strategy, and but then I got into A&M. I was into a very good project. Our client was one of the top 3 private equity firm, right? So it's a due diligence project, intensive project for 3-4 weeks, great learning experience. And the best thing happened then. I did not get the PPO. This is the best thing happened to me. And that is the key thing which made, right now I'm a product manager because of that single thing. I'm not saying that not getting a PPO is a good thing. No, PPO is something which is not under your control. What is under your control is you go out there in the firm for 2 months, you work at, let's say, 100% or 200%. That's the only thing which is under your control. PPO is something which is not under control. There are 2 aspects to it. If you get PPO, does not mean that you are suitable for it. There can be the requirement of the firm, they want to fit in and you have been selected, because they don't want to try out other person because you have been tested for 2 months. There can be a person who is doing exceptionally well, but because of the certain business issues, that some certain problems that the organization is facing, and that's why they're not offering you PPO, does not mean that you're not suitable for that role. So there are 2 things. Now, I'll talk about myself first. What happened to me? So I did not get PPO. I was very sad, very disappointed. I lost a CV point. The golden bullet letters I would have written, pre-placement offered. So that I was missing, and I was like, for 1 month I was struggling. I was constantly thinking, what went wrong? Should I try to speak to my manager again? Is there any something, chance of recalling that decision? Please offer me a PPO. My life will be like heaven in my second year. But yes, that's not going to happen. What I did, I took a rest. I figured out what is left for me. Set a realistic goal. Just don't run behind the only thing which I have tried for, like in the PGP1. In PGP2, I think I should do my homework. I should understand what are the different roles. I started that right from the scratch. I don't know about marketing. Just talk to people who have done internship in marketing, people who have done internship in product management. Just go and ask their experience. You can have a nice cup of tea with them. You can understand the landscape. And that's what I did exactly for like 2 to 3 weeks. Got the idea of the different domains, and it was a great experience for me. I think that's a bliss now. You haven't got people, and that's why you're talking to people. You are creating your network, and you're understanding the different domains. That is what expected out of a B school graduate, right? You understand different domains very well. That's what I did. And then I planned my entire PGP2, whatever 5-6 months I had before the placement. That yes, Prem, you have so many things. You have academics to look after, you have competitions, you want to diversify your CV, right? You have to eliminate those silly CV points you personally think that you have put. and you have to come up with a good CV point which will make you happy, not the people who are going to review. So that kind of philosophy I see. And then eventually in one of the competition, it was a product management competition conducted by Sprinkler, and it must be on the D2C also. Sprinkler conducted for, I think many of you might not be knowing Sprinkler. Sprinkler is a B2B product based company. Primarily the consumers are in US, and they are into the digital marketing. So they conducted first time UFO challenge in December last year. That was open for 3 institutions, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Calcutta. And we emerged as a national winner in the competition. And that's where it struck me that this is something which I can do. I was really worried about the fact that, this is not the thing for me after hearing the stories of the people who have done internship, because there was some kind of bias in them, right? Now I practically experienced it. One of the moments which made me think about product management was while we were delivering the presentation to the CTO of the Sprinkler. After we finished our presentation, he declared us the winner. And there were 5 teams which were waiting to give their presentation, and he declared us the winner. And that was the key, that you have a great idea. It was a simple idea. It was such a simple idea which nobody thought of. And when we delivered that along with my 2 teammates, it was fantastic. And that was the eureka moment for me. And I think, yeah, that's something which I can do. And then this transition came that I started preparing for consulting, from product management, from consulting. What you need a good case prep. I already had done in consulting. So I thought, just have to study a bit about technical, which is required in the product management. Technical means the technical preparation part, not the coding and not technical infrastructure knowledge. You don't need all those information, but how you have to approach a PM interview. That kind of things I started doing. And I think I spent 15 days in December before laterals. And this was the second interview which I gave, and I cleared this interview. Let me tell you one thing. There were 15 people in this interview for the final round, and 2 got selected. There were people from computer science background, people who have already worked in the information system area, right? And 2 people who got selected, both are mechanical engineers and have worked in the manufacturing setup, and they were selected as a product manager. So, yeah.
That is quite an amazing story. I'm sure that the viewers would be as thrilled as I am after hearing this part. It's amazing to see how far you have come after not receiving a PPO. And I think that was one of the best parts of your journey, and a milestone that has helped you reach here today.
I've already spoken to many of my friends about this thing. Not getting a PPO is a good thing, but the fundamental thing is people talk about success stories. They don't talk about failures. Talking about the failure is the best thing you can do. Just talk about, don't think how people will judge you. Whether the front person is judging you, don't feel bad about it. Just, get that thing out of your system. Oh, I fail. Then you feel like it's a normal thing. Yeah, I fail because I want to do something good now. That's the philosophy you will get. And that's the philosophy I relied on, and the result I got.
Absolutely. I think it's very important for us to accept our failures, because once we start owning up our mistakes and failures, it is then that the success that lies ahead of us starts coming into the frame. Yeah. You start realizing that you have a way forward.
Absolutely.
In light of your own story, what advice would you like to give to the upcoming B-schoolers or the current B-schoolers who are looking at B-school placements in the eye right now?
Okay, so in general, I'll talk about first B-school placements, and then I'll specifically talk about the product management placements. So the B-school placement, yeah, it's a very difficult time. Now students are studying from campus, even the BGP ones, they have started their course from home itself. It's a very difficult situation. The kind of experience you get from the campus, people are missing it. Students are missing it basically. So situation is tough. It's a very stressful time. It's very important for the students to, de-stress themselves from all the worries. The first worry, which is I would talk about PGP2 because PGP1 has time to, cope up with this. PGP2 is I think the main, should be the area of discussion. These students should, first of all, not think about whether the companies will come or not. You have got a good brand. So companies need you, companies will come. So just don't worry about the fact. The only thing you have to worry is you will get opportunity maybe once or twice. You will not get, n number of opportunities. So to convert those opportunities, I would say you should be ready. and you have to prepare yourself. If you keep on worrying about silly things, one of the silly things is not getting PPO, and the other silly things about not getting good grades or not able to crack some competition. So there are so many dimensions to it, right? If you keep on worrying, you'll not be able to push yourself ahead. So stop worrying and just don't think about the results. Just think about, plan yourself, what are the things you have, right? Plan your competitions accordingly, plan your academics accordingly, choose your subject wisely, because which domain you want to target, you have to select subjects, right, which will help you, because you have some talking points in the interview, right? You know about the subject in I would say in a decent manner. I would say not completely, but in a decent manner. You can choose your competition wisely, put your efforts, select your team. Stakeholder management is something which is very important. Resource allocation is very important in the world out there. So when you're doing this, please select your team wisely. Be with people who can push you to do things which you want to achieve. All this kind of, surround yourself with a positive environment. Stay away from the negative. All these things will help you to build your CV. The ultimate aim should be whatever actions, whatever things you're doing should reflect as a CV point. Not all things, but the good achievement point should reflect in your CV, because this will give you confidence. The only thing is, don't just run for the CV. Do something which will automatically get converted into CV point, right? And when you have a good CV, you naturally have the confidence. Yeah, I have a good CV. I might get a short list, and I have that potential to convert this particular firm, whichever is they are targeting, people are targeting. So that's why I think approach, laterals is there, finals is there. There are a lot of opportunities. Be open, study. Just don't restrict yourself to one domain, because things are difficult now. If you keep yourself restricted to one domain, you might end up not having that and might struggle with the other. So have a fallback option also. Try for at least two domains, right? If not this, you're good with the B, and then things will be right. I would say once you are done with the placements, you will figure out a way to sort your things out if you are personally looking for something else. For product manager, basically this is the good time. This is the best time you should start. You can look for online courses. You can start looking for the competitions. You can look for the courses which the product firms are looking for. People who don't have PPO also, don't worry about it. Just understand, set your realistic goal. If there are firms whose criteria is PPO, then don't think about it, right? They are not going to shortlist you. This is the condition. If you can overcome those issues also by working tremendously on your academics and on certain other aspects and business competitions and all that thing, it's good. They might give you a chance because you have done so well. So yeah, so this is the time you prepare yourself for the domain. For the product managers, study, decode and conquer. There are PM interview, cracking the PM interview. These are the two simple things you can read twice, thrice and get an understanding. Then talk to seniors, talk to alums who are working, get a complete idea how you should prepare. They'll also help you. Your club is going to help you. And then, naturally you will feel confident about the process and not worry whether I'll get shortlisted on it, because now you are worried about only one thing, that when I'm going to get the opportunity, because you are ready. Once you have the opportunity, go, I would say, fearlessly. That's the only advice. Don't worry. Things will be in the right place. I would say just don't worry. I worried for like 2-3 months in the term 4, but then I realized it was wasting my time on unnecessary things. Nothing matters. The only thing which matters is people around you. Job is just a part of your personality. Placement is just a part of your personality. Cannot define you as a person. You can be a good brother. You can be a good son. You can be a good daughter. You can be a good boyfriend, girlfriend. There are so many aspects to your personality. So just don't stress yourself because of one silly thing, and that is, I would say, not getting a PPO or struggling with the thinking about placements and all that. You will be hired by companies, good companies.
And I absolutely agree with your point where you mentioned that you are going to get placed. There is no point worrying about it. Everything will fall into place eventually.
Exactly. Eventually, everything will be perfect. And you don't know what is right for you. So I would say, if you know, it's good. If you don't know, it's still good for you.
Okay, on a closing note, Prem, now that we are coming to an end of this discussion, what is the last message that you would like to share with the viewers?
Okay, first thing, stay safe because its situation is not good. Yeah, for my B school friends who are willing to join B schools or who are currently studying in B schools, from my experience, I would say, there are certain hurdles, certain there's a kind of inertia when you are trying to do new things. I also had, I attempted a cat, thrice, and in the third attempt I got a success. And the first two attempt was not that serious attempt, and again because of some inertia I was not serious. No, so that's the thing. So even if you're trying to look for green cat, if you're looking for placements, everything will be new for you. Just don't worry about what is behind the wall. Just try to climb the wall. Let it be anything. You're safe. Don't worry. The institution is there to save you. When you fall from the wall, you have got a brand which will save you. So your institution is always with you. Your IIMs are with you. You will figure out a way. A lot of people, a lot of my friends have lost their placements which they were aiming for. Things are not under control, right? They got the best job. They were into consulting. Some were in some very great roles, but companies refused because of the kind of things out there. Business is not going well. The, the joining was postponed, and eventually it led to that they're saying they are not able to, confirm the offer. Then what is that? They're not crying because they know that they have got the brand with them. They have a good peer, good network with them. They are working hard. They got the new offer. Similarly, all you students out there, just don't worry. Just enjoy these 2 years because you are not going to get these 2 years back. I am missing the LKP. I'm from Ahmedabad. That's why I'm missing LKP people. I'm surely Calcutta people must be missing the lakes, and the Bangalore people. Their weekends are, I think, awesome in Bangalore. The weather they must be missing. So there are so many things which we miss about campus. The campus life is the precious life. Nowadays, students are studying from home itself. I wish they get to opportunity to go back to the campus, at least have 4 or 5 months together, because this is the memory which will last with you forever. Utilize your time. Keep yourself up. Don't stress yourself, I would say, and stay happy. Work hard, and you'll get the result.
Absolutely, absolutely, Prem. Thank you so much for sharing such insightful views. Thank you so much for staying with us today for this video. We wish you the best for all your future endeavors, and we wish you the best for your job at Unboxed as well. I hope and I believe that this video is going to help a lot many viewers out there who would be listening to you, who would be listening your story, and they'll have a lot to take back from this video as well. Thank you so much. All the best. All the best, Prem.
Yeah,
Stay safe
thanks.
and stay home. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you.